20 on me, case emergency. Ain't no cap in my rap. Real I know it's the truck. More profit mean extra. Emerald white out full of pressure. That cereal milk smoking right. But that Obama rank some special. Kansas City, I'm a chief. Shout out to K5 on new one. Country thuggin', I was hustling. I always had it on me. Booming like OJ the Juice. Till a nigga told on me. From now on, it's relentless. Ain't no love, we ain't friendly. If she want me on him. No the law, she get the business. No the law, still the motto. Empire.
Hello. Welcome in. This is Birds of a Feather Podcast with your boy Q City.
Your boy Tom's Bravado.
And this is episode 37, first with 5. So we about to check out last week versus the Saints. Check out next week versus the Jets. Look at what's going on in the division and some city talk at the end. So come along with us and enjoy this ride. Yeah, this second one going down. All 6 of these bitches might go down while you playing. All right, man. So when we looking at, we back from the break. Didn't get the Cardinals game in, but want to take time with the family or whatever. We're back at it just like they're back at it after the bye week. We look at it, a win today, man. 24-15 versus the Saints. Raucous defense. Offense actually looked like it had some life in the situation. Special teams didn't play a huge factor in the game, but it didn't kill us like it has in other games. I think this was an all-around good team win. And hell, who doesn't love beating the Saints? You feel good after beating them. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
Tell me what you thought about it.
Love it. You said it all right there. Who don't love to beat the Saints? Like top 3 feeling beating the Saints. Defense, led by the team MVP, Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates is worth every single penny. If y'all thought he got paid too much, think again. The offense, Ritter back in the starting lineup. The offense looked good. Ritter looked good too. He showed some different things. He showed some decisiveness, but he also showed some things you don't necessarily like. But it didn't kill us.
It didn't kill us. I feel like this was a bad opponent. I feel like the Saints are trash, especially after playing them. And that's not just like part of it's bias, but the other part of it is like they generally just like did not look good. They put up 15 points today. One bad read, one pick I can't really put on him, right? The first one
because the way I look at it, you can either call it a miscommunication. I'm gonna say Bijan throttled down because he's seen the linebacker coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it looked to me. But some people will have their own agendas. But to me, it looked like Bijan pulled up when he seen Demario Davis.
And that's how I clocked it too. The all 22 might show something different. We both agreed to start recording on Sunday to make sure we get some consistency. So the all 22 might see something different on Tuesday or whatnot. But that's how I saw it, just looking at it on TV. The second pick, I really don't have I really don't have a report for you. Like you either should have let him clear, like hold the ball another step and let him clear Tyrann Mathieu, or you should have went somewhere else with the ball. And those are the same mistakes. Like those are the exact same mistakes that got you benched. And I kind of just like the same realization we had to come to with Heineke, where it's like that just might be who you are. I think that part of being a young quarterback is just like learning I can't go there with the ball.
He just got to get through the storm. He's in the storm right now, but he is showing that he's capable of improving. Because besides that one throw, everything else looked fine. They actually leaned on the strength of the team, and it's to me it's just kind of, I don't know, interesting that the game we get Parker Hesse back is the game that the run game explodes. Hesse.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying Parker Hesse, he might be the piece that just makes the run game go.
All right, so one, I don't disagree with you. Delve into that one for me.
When you talking about the Parker Hesse?
Yeah.
I don't know. He just seemed like one of the guys to do all the little things right that makes big differences for the whole team also. Because like last year, when the run game was going, he was out there a lot, making big plays, making big blocks, and all of that. And we've been struggling with the run game for a good bit of the year, and the Saints are a team that's generally they're a good defense. That's a top 10 defense, and we ran all over them.
All day.
Like
All day, especially that last. We're going to get to that last drive, but yeah, we ran over them all day.
yeah, because it's like the Saints must thought they were playing on Thursday because they was in a very giving mood.
I think that we were able to really, really put like one of the things I really love was getting Bijan involved, right? 16 for 91, TD on the ground, and then you commented directly on just how beautiful that play action pass. Ritter over the shoulder, like laid the ball perfectly. Getting Bijan on a linebacker is exactly what you want in most situations.
Oh, absolutely.
I look at
Ritter
it.
hit it perfectly.
The piece that I loved that happened today that was just completely non-existent with Heineke in London 5 for 91. I
Oh
can't
yeah.
keep harping on how much of an impact this guy is and how underutilized he is with other quarterbacks. Like Mariota just could not find him last year. Heineke in the game, in the half, and then the 2 games he played, really wasn't looking for him. And like Ritter has a connection with this guy. I think to get the best out of London for right now, you need Ritter in there.
Yeah. Also, I mean, even though they didn't target him as much, Kyle Pitts looks like he's starting to round back into form. Like
He
he
had
started.
2 catches, 22 yards, but he only had 3 targets. It was
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get that, but I'm just talking about just the way he's moving. Like I think that bye week did them all some good because Pitts was moving very well today. The run game was very good, but yeah, like you said, to get the best out of Drake, Ritter needs to play.
and I think that speaks to two points. 2 points. The broadcaster he made a point toward the end of the game that like I think every Falcons fan literally like if you were listening to the broadcast jumped up and was like exactly we can't have Bijan games, Drake games, Pitt games. We got to have a fully functional flowing offense that balances the run and pass every single game. And I
Well,
think we even us, you know what I'm saying? Even us, we've had conversations where, oh well, I think this is a Drake London game. I think this is a Pitts game. And that's not saying you don't take into account where your strengths lie and what the weaknesses of the other team is. But I think most fans, and like even people who like know football and are looking at it are looking for consistency within your play calling that you can kind of know what you're getting from these all-star type people every single week. And I think the wild fluctuations cause a bit of frustration on the part of the fan base. You know what I'm saying? In just terms of like Kyle Pitts just had 67 yards 2 games ago. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And now he's targeted 3 times, 2 for 22. And it's like, dang, bro, like, I think everybody would be okay with 4 for 52 every game. You know what I'm saying? Like find a happy medium. And with us not putting the ball in the air as much, honestly, I don't think this game dictated us putting the ball in the air too much, right? But with us not putting the ball in the air as much, our strength being the run game, definitely utilizing the backside, the backfield more, and then really just London being our like big dog type of receiver and whatnot. Him and Kyle are 1 and 1 8. You know what I'm saying? So like
right.
it would feel good to see Kyle get a little more involved. I'm talking about London, but granted, 7 targets, 5 catches. It's not like they were 14 targets, 12 catches for the guy. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah,
didn't put the ball in the air a lot. So, Ritter only completed 13 passes. He only put the ball in the air 21 times. So I don't think that this is like a true microcosm of our offensive production. But I do think that it does lead to a bit of frustration on the fans' part.
Yeah, I mean, like to go back to what you were saying about the like you don't want to have like the Drake game, Bijan game, Pitts game, but it's like you would like to see more balance, but at the same time, it's just like that's just the way the games go sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The point of having these three, you know, uh, elite talent type players is that you always have at least one of them to lean on because there are going to be certain matchups to where maybe Drake London may not be as dominant as you would like him to be in the game, so you might lean on Pitts, or Pitts not be as dominant, so you lean on Drake, or neither one of them is as dominant, so you lean on Bijan, or because the thing is like unfortunately in the game of football, it's very rare that you have everyone clicking and wins.
No, and I think that most people actually don't understand or recognize that. They think Bijan should have 100 yards every game. Pitt should have 65 to 70, and then London should have 120 every single game. You know what I'm saying? Just strictly for their fantasy teams. Everybody talks about like an Atlanta offense that is quote unquote explosive looks a lot like today in the terms of Bijan having 115 to 120 all-purpose yards, London being between 85 and 105, and then Pitts would be the step up. So he needs to be between 40 and 60, right? So like maybe even 50, but between 40 and 60, you give him a good range. If all three of them hit those numbers, I promise you that offense scores 30, 35 points. Like that is an explosive offense. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't want people to get so caught up on the numbers being low. Like we scored 24 points today. You know what I'm saying? Like this is one of our higher scoring outings for the year. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Yeah,
scored 24 points today. So you add 30 more yards on Pitt, 10, 15 more yards on London, and then 10, 15 more yards on Bijan. That's a 30, 35 point outing. We're not
yeah,
going to average that. We're not going to average that right now. Now, granted, as an offense, we scored 17 points because we got to go back to what you self-described as the best free agent signing in your lifetime. And I think John Abraham would disagree, but
well
on Michael Turner,
he was a trade. John was a trade.
John was a trade. What about Michael Turner?
I mean, he was good, but like Jesse, like the thing is, running back dime a dozen. A good safety, that's hard to come by.
I think that the salary cap would disagree, but rather than getting into the nooks and crannies of it, I just want to talk about how awesome this dude is, bro. 97-yard pick six, bro. I just want to like paint the picture of how crucial that was because the Saints were up 3-0. We come out, shit the bed, totally, right? They get the ball. They're driving. They get into the red zone. It's one of those Taysom Hill talking crap type of games. The Saints fans are hooping and hollering, rolling on it. Shut all that down. High stepped into the end zone, bro. Like that completely flipped the momentum of the game, right? And
Yeah,
from there, the Saints only like their whole feng shui of scoring a touchdown today just got taken away. Just completely got taken away. Three trips into the red zone, all ended with field goals, two other trips with field goals. 15 points, all on field goals, kept them out of the end zone. Right?
yeah,
The thing that I love to, on the defensive side, and Bill Belichick's defense were always great at this. You can get as many yards as you would like. You can go up and down this field as many times as you want. But if you get a field goal and I get a touchdown, you got to get 3 possessions to outscore my one. And that is the beautiful part about our defense, especially in how they played today. We hadn't been super bad about giving up touchdowns. The last 2 weeks, one thing that really stuck out to me today, bro, tackling. tackling was immense today. And Jesse had the most tackles today, 12 tackles, right? Like you really see him setting the tone for the defense, right? And I think that bye week was an opportunity for them to just get their head on straight. And he really took charge of the defense.
I agree. I agree. Because like they were saying, like Jesse, like I think they were saying how Ryan Nielsen, he um he makes a lot of wrongs right because he's an erasure on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
So, some like without him, this defense is not the same.
I played linebacker. One of my best friends played safety. And I'm fat and slow and was out of position a lot of times. Right. So, so uh that whole making wrong right, I think that football people recognize it, right? And I think that the fan may not necessarily understand what that means if the opposition still gains yards, right? And so one play kind of really stuck out to me was that reverse, right? What's his name on the outside? I want to say it was Okuda that got straight pancaked, but it's because he took a bad angle on that reverse, right? And Jesse Bates comes flying in from his spot across the field and makes an ankle tackle. The Saints still got a first down on that play, right?
But he
They,
erased the touchdown.
yeah, like I think they got like 13 yards. He saved a touchdown on that play, right? And like a corner took a bad angle, and most times, especially with a really speedy H-back wide receiver, that kid out of Kentucky, number 5, he's nice. I remember him playing in
Oh,
Kentucky too.
Loudon Jr.
Yeah, I remember him playing in Kentucky, bro. Like he was nice, but he's fast. You know what I'm saying? That play normally ends with somebody dancing in the end zone.
Yeah,
And he was able to just get an ankle tackle. And that's one of those, you make a play that, like, for the layman fan, it's like, bro, they still got a first down. Oh, we allowing yards or whatever. But like to a coach, you know what I'm saying? To anyone who's played, I guarantee to the corner in that situation, bro, I'm dapping you up because I know like that should have been a touchdown, bro.
all right.
Like that. Bailing the offense out, the sexy plays, the 96-yard pick six. Okay, cool. But there were so many times today. There was one, it was a rotation. What happened? Landman went down. I think he was on a blitz, but then he checked up on a blitz because he realized it was a screen and he just got like clocked. And I want to say it was before Shaheed got hurt, right? And he ended up catching Kamara to the sideline. You know what I'm saying? He just kind of strung that play along all the way to the sideline. And it's like, bro, that shit could have popped. You know what I'm saying? And he's just always in the right place at the right time. Very instinctual as a safety, but incredibly smart. You know what I'm saying? Incredibly smart as a safety.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is generally those free safeties that are really instinctual. The Ed Reed types, real free flowing, really joker all over the place on defense, can't really lay the boom. You know what I'm saying?
No, Ed Reed was
Not
that
not
time.
Ed Reed was a bad example, but I'm saying
Yeah.
free safety is not what you're looking at to be a really physical safety, right? In the box safety. Jesse Bates is not that kind, bro. Right?
No,
Like
Jesse Bates, he's just a safety. It don't matter free or strong. He's a safety.
free or strong, that man could play it, bro. Ed Reed was a terrible example there, but you got what I was trying to say.
Yeah, because I'm like, Ed Reed was knocking people's heads loose. So,
No. I meant it in the sense of like a free safety. When you think of free safety, you think of somebody who's like kind of all over the field. A traditional free safety doesn't really play the run as well, isn't super physical. But those elite ones, like the Ed Reeds, and like we're kind of seeing with Jesse Bates, can truly play on all 3 levels. It's well, obviously not D line, but he can play close to the line. You know what I'm saying? He can blitz, he can play deep cover. Like yeah, he can man up on tight ends. He has been a revelation for the defense this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah,
Now, if I'm
that's
honest,
yeah.
the one part of the defense that I really haven't seen take that next step that I would like to, the D line. We're getting pressure. We're just really not getting home. I know part of it is just like some of it's luck. You know what I'm saying? And then like the offenses today, you get the ball out so quick. It's cool, but it's just I would really like to see more sacks out of our defense.
I get it. No, I completely understand that. I completely understand, and it's like we're close. Sometimes it might just be a missed tackle. Sometimes it might just be a second too late. But like
The one thing
we
I
get.
will say that we
Mhm.
have avoided a lot is we get a lot of QB hits. We don't get a lot of QB penalties.
Yeah, yeah.
So like we're getting close. We're not necessarily getting home, but we are putting a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Now, from the Saints side of things, I remember texting you this. If you look at the true production of the offense, right? And like if you just look at raw yardage, right? Card 304, Ritter 168, you add his rushing yards, was he like 173? If you just look at raw yards, you're gonna be like, what are you talking about? But if you looked at true production of the game, there was not a huge divide between how Carr played and how Ritter played. And like
Yeah,
I texted you, one guy is making $500,000 and one guy is making almost $40 million.
I would honestly say Ritter outplayed Carr.
I mean, got the win, was able to convert in the red zone. Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Bijan's run was a check to a run, but like, I mean, you got two touchdowns, one in the red zone, one off a pretty pass. Yes, you had two picks, but none of your picks resulted in one field goal, two field goals. So you know they scored 6 points off your picks. Dude threw a pick six. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like that's a watch there. Now, granted, I understand. Shaheed went out. What's his name? Number 12. Chris Olave went out.
yeah. A lot of it was. Now, I
Yeah,
didn't understand why they didn't put AJ Terrell on Olave earlier because
it shut him down. Shut him down, bro.
because the first half Olave was just doing what the hell he wanted to do, and then I guess they said, "Oh, AJ, go get him." Y'all should have did that from the jump. I get it. You want to believe in Akuda, but AJ's the number one corner. He needs to be on the number one receiver. There was no one else there. He needs to be on the number one receiver.
Well, okay, so it's kind of it's kind of a different philosophy. And I remember they used to do it a lot with like Marshawn's got something personal with Evans. So he travels with Evans. But I remember they
Yeah,
used to do it a lot with Marshawn and Julio, right? They would put Marshawn on the second best wide receiver,
and
right?
double the second. Yeah,
And then roll the coverage to Julio. And so like, but it didn't seem like they were rolling coverage. And if they lined Olave up on Jesse Bates' side, you want Jesse to be instinctual, so you don't necessarily want to stick him to a guy. And so
yeah,
like the Saints were smart there. That's smart offensively. You know what I'm saying? It's just I think in the second half they kind of like you said, okay, look, this isn't working. Let's go ahead and stick our best on him. We can roll coverage because they usually line second best receiver on the offside to the strong safety side will double, or we'll roll a linebacker over there to take away short routes, whatever we need to do on that case. But let's go man on, let's go, our best on your best. Especially considering Michael Thomas being out. I didn't necessarily understand the reasoning, but they corrected it.
yeah. That's all you can ask.
That's really all it. Now, talking about this run game. Talking about special teams, Koo is still the man that field goal was absolutely needed, necessary. Made it a 2-possession game. There's not much you can say about him. Who's an all pro? You know what I'm saying? Well, that kicker in Philly.
Oh yeah,
That
50,
nigga,
59 in the rain is crazy.
your boy, hey, that nigga's something different. But
59 in the rain is crazy.
but for the most part, in most years, normal years, who is a pro kicker, he'll undoubtedly be a Pro Bowl kicker this year, right? So like, because hell, if the Eagles go all the way to the Super Bowl, Elliott's ineligible. So, Koo should be most years is a Pro Bowl kicker, and some years is an All Pro, right? Like Koo is an amazing kicker. Pinion, he's good on kickoffs. He doesn't necessarily give us any super any super push on field position that I've seen. You know what I'm saying? So like,
His thing is mainly just hang time. Like,
yeah, he'll
he's
give
not
you
really.
time to cover. He'll give you
Yeah,
time to cover it, so he gets a lot of
right.
fair catches. But in terms of like distance or pinning, it doesn't really do it for me. But I mean, he gets the job done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if 7th round or undrafted free agent pushes him next year in camp. I wouldn't be surprised by that, especially if you find like a Australian kicker or former soccer player with a big leg, can get some
Yeah.
direction on it. Cool,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. Nobody's taking Koo's spot.
No.
Offensively, bro, that last drive was some of the smartest, like best
Across the
coach
board.
football we've seen in a while, bro.
Yeah, with
Literally
Algier making
dominant.
sure he's sliding to be sure not to go out of bounds.
Man, what? Man, what? Like when I
That,
seen it, I was like, oh, they for real. They for real.
yeah,
Arthur done got in their ass. They for real.
yeah, like that.
Because
That's some big brain stuff.
I told you like the difference that I saw this game was execution. And I think while everybody's like, oh, fire Arthur Smith and whatever, and I'm semi still on that bandwagon. I don't think a win versus the Saints changes a whole lot for me. I still think that like you have a bunch of work to do to win a good bit of the fan base back. But like, what frustrates you about Arthur Smith is that if you break down the tape, it looks like everything works. And I think that's the frustrating part is that like you see the play design and you're like, oh, this should work. And so that's why I think the big difference has been execution. Right?
Yeah.
Do I think he's still a little too emotional on the sidelines? Yes. Do I think that can spill over to your absolutely.
I don't think he's too emotional because like
Bro, he wears his emotions on his sleeve and look, you either coaching it or you allowing it to happen.
see. Here's the thing with that. If he's winning games, it's a non-issue. I don't believe in it because the Eagles coach is very emotional and no one says nothing about him.
He doesn't call either side of the ball.
He's not. It don't matter if you
No.
call you. It don't matter if it don't matter if he calls plays. He's still very emotional.
No, so okay, that doesn't bother me as much because he doesn't call either side of the ball. Like
he's the head coach.
You remember Josh McDaniels is a good example. I'll just use him as a good example, right? So when he was done with Carr last year, right? And he had that moment where like he wouldn't dap up Carr coming off the field. This is the guy who is directly responsible. Like if you don't have faith in him, you can't instill faith in him. Like everybody sees that. You know what I'm saying? And like you're directly responsible for calling his plays being successful. Like Brandon Staley, terrible defensive coordinator, probably should be fired. Stone face on the sideline. Like defense going bad, it's fine. Like we're gonna figure it out. When your play caller, it like Ken Dorsey getting fired. Like people, bro, you're too emotional. Like when he had that whole meltdown last year, throwing shit in the press box, and the dude next to him is looking at him like, bro, you're wilding right now. Like,
But
nah,
that's
bro.
not
Like,
Arthur. That's not Arthur Smith.
bro, Have you seen this man on the sideline? You seen his facial expressions? Come on now.
Facial expressions and throwing shit is two different things. I'm not going. I'm not. I don't give a damn about you showing displeasure with some shit. Yeah, show me you're human, but it ain't like as far as emotion, he might give you a face, but most emotion is when the refs give him a BS call. But when it comes to the players, he's not really showing you much in the public eye. He gives the
I
refs
think
more than
everybody
anything.
knew he was done with Ritter when he was done with Ritter.
But Ritter's back. Like
No,
there's
he is.
nothing.
But I'm saying the Tennessee fans, like everybody knew.
But the legitimate reason was he legitimately did have a concussion. Well, he didn't have, but he had to get tested for the concussion, and it's not an abnormal thing for players to not come back after clearing concussion protocol, because sometimes things linger. So like, I'm not going for that one either. Now, do he tell us everything? No. But emotional, that's not the thing I get from Arthur Smith. Like, if anything, he like in his pressures, he comes off like an asshole because he don't want to give you anything. But it's like he's an animated person on the sidelines, but he emotional, no.
Animated.
Ken Dorsey, yes, animated. He's very animated. Emotional. If the ref gives a bad call, he gonna let the ref know about it, or he's gonna ask a question. But I wouldn't call him emotional to the point to where he's losing like sight of things. Nah, I disagree strongly with that.
The main thing about him that was refreshing this week, leaned into what the team does well, right? That last drive was beautiful, amazing, all that. It looked like you had an identity for the team, right? Came back, you put Ritter back in. We can argue till the cows come home on whether or not you should have ever took him out, right? If I'm being completely honest, we went 0-2 with Heineke, right? Maybe we win the Vikings game with Ritter, but what was the first game we lost?
The Vikings game. It was the Vikings game, wasn't it? Or was it the Cardinals?
Cardinals. Yeah, we lost the Vikings game. Maybe you beat the Vikings with Ritter, but for a fact, when you saw Ritter come in against the Cardinals, you win that game, right? So like at worst, you go 1-1, maybe 2-0. It's a huge difference. I think I said it when when they benched him. You should have stuck with the kid. What he showed you was enough that he should have earned the year at least, right? To work through, just work through. Like he in football's a meritocracy, right? And I think that's why, like, I can, as a player, like I can be out of position. I can make a mistake, right? And like obviously, Ray Lewis can make way more mistakes at linebacker than I can, right? Like he's got the pedigree, he's got the job security. Like you know what I'm saying? I make a wrong read, I might get benched. But like if I show you over the course of 4 or 5 games that like, you know, like 80 something, 60 to 80 snaps a game that I can do this, and then I make a couple mental lapses within there, like I feel like I earned enough to, like, I've proven enough to finish the season in that space, right? I don't have as much rope as a Hall of Famer, right? Aaron could throw an interception, come to the sideline, look you dead in the eye, and be like, "I'm throw it there again." And you know what I'm saying? Like Steph misses a shot, he gonna jog back, like laughing, because like I'm not getting pulled. You didn't earn as much rope as a Hall of Famer, but he put in enough work that unquestionably he should have been able to finish the season, right? And I've stood by that part. I felt like yanking him was a bad decision. Maybe he just needed that hard reset. He's still making decisions to where he's not like fully seeing the field or letting the play develop, getting to his second read. So it's like, I don't know exactly what was fixed. You were just able to overcome it because it was an inferior opponent. So
my thing when it comes to the reads is we don't know what the reads are because we don't know how it's coached. we could base it off a novice opinion, but we don't know what the reads are. We can
That's
tell you what
true.
we think it should be, but
That's
we
true.
don't know
That's
how
true.
we don't know how author is telling him to read it. Because the way we might look at it, we're like, oh well, this is wide open. Because like even when Ritter took off, Pitts was wide the hell up and clapping his hands in front of his face, and he still took off running. Maybe they're coaching Ritter. Hey, we want you to just run. I still think he should have threw that shit when you got your tight end. Just let the tight end run up the field. But
Yeah, there was one play on that last drive where everybody was running, where they put Bijan in motion and they ran a fake toss to him and they ran with Ritter. And I was like, why are we running with him? You know what I'm saying?
no,
Not
see,
like
no, yeah, no, I know exactly what because I was wondering because like it was like what was it like fourth and it was like a shorter situation and they all follow
no, no,
Wilson.
no, no. It was like third and fourth. They were setting up for the coup field goal.
Oh, okay. But I know it was one. It's a couple times to where like, why don't you just like hit like a little fake thing and just do a flat out just bootleg with him. Just have him
Hmm.
just book it because sometimes it be there.
No, I think in this, I think you're talking about earlier in the game. In this situation, I was talking about, it was truly just like a clock wasting situation. And with that being the case, why wouldn't you run with your running back rather than your quarterback?
Speaking of quarterback, now Arthur called a he called a good game, but that play where he motioned McGarry to the other side and left that big ass hole, and then you run the read option to the side where you moved your lineman from, that was horrible.
I think I think it was kind of making an easier read, but like there's
That
nowhere to go with the ball. There's nowhere to go with the ball if there is no pass on the outside.
no, that was just a straight up just read option. That wasn't no pass play. That was just a run
No,
play.
that's what I'm saying. If you don't have a back action pass on that side, there is no option there. Like you have to just give the ball. And like he didn't, and got tackled, but like there
It
has
just
to be a there has to be a pass option on that side because like your quarterback isn't gonna outrun two defensive linemen like in
no
his
he
face. It's
no,
not.
but he can. But the thing is like it was 3-on-2. Like you got three people there. You got Chris Minster, and then you got a tight end that got to come down to try to close the gap. That was just a horrible play decision right there.
Yeah, and I didn't see a play. I didn't see any type of pass option on that side. So
No,
like
it was just a pure run play. It was just run play.
yeah, so I'm not really sure. That's once again, we don't know what the thinking was. Maybe there was supposed to be a pass option on that side, and Ritter just ate it. Hey, look, quarterbacks
Nah,
fall on the sword.
that wasn't no. That was a read option because he faked the hand off to Algier and they tried to run. That wasn't no read option. That wasn't no RPO. That was a read option. That was
Yeah,
just that was just a bad play call. That's the
yeah,
only one
yeah,
I was just like, what are you
it was.
doing, Art?
Yeah,
Like,
it was. It was yeah. I can't really defend it. It looked bad. It looked ugly. So, but overall, hey, a win is a win, and it's hard to be mad at wins. It's hard to be mad at wins, right?
yeah,
So we got one this week. Let's go ahead and look to what next week holds versus the Jets. Next week versus the Jets. They are coming off that first Black Friday game, a pretty tough loss for them. 34-13, right? Uh this offense is bad. This offense is anemic, bro. And as bad as their offense is conversely as good as their defense is. And what's sad is that is kind of scary to me. So, um, if you remember, the Giants and Commanders played a game about 3 weeks ago. Not this recent one, the one before it, where I think the score was like 9-6 or something like that, something stupid like that. In my mind, that's the type of game I see us winning, just because this defense is stout, man. They got playmakers at all three levels. Quincy Williams in the middle, CJ Mosley at the linebacker position, Sauce Gardner in the back in on the back end. Like they can make plays defensively, but their offense is so bad, bro. It's so bad. And like, I think people get mad when they lose to the Jets, but like, as bad as their offense is, conversely, their defense is that good. I This game kind of scares me. I'm not gonna lie.
Um, I'm not really scared. Like I'm not overly confident, but just due to the state of our team, I'm not really scared because like it seems like our team finds a way to win the game that they aren't supposed to, or the game because the Jets team they have the talent. Quarterback place is abysmal right now. It looks like we're going to see Tim Boyle again. So
Which is a blessing. That's
it
a
is.
blessing, bro. And I don't think people understand how much of a blessing that is. Like, I am not. I say everything is racism, but it's really not. Like, not everything is racism, but he is a masterclass in white man mediocrity because he has been bad ever since he left high school
Yeah.
and
'Cause-
keeps getting chances, bro. Like, I do not understand how he got drafted, how he's stuck on a team, and how he's and I think that's like a huge indictment on Zach Wilson, bro. That like I believe that Tim Boyle gives me a better chance to win than you do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very damning. Like yeah. If they were saying I'd rather go with this guy who's been pretty much below average his whole career. Yeah.
Way below average, bro.
Because I
Like,
think like his senior year he had more interceptions than touchdowns.
not just senior year, bro.
Well, maybe his whole career. I only know. I think he only played like what in 20 games or so.
Bruh, if now granted, don't get me wrong, bro. Do not get me wrong. He played for UConn as they were transitioning from D2 to D3, right? So like he played for UConn. He had one touchdown and 13 picks, right? Then his senior year, he had 11 touchdowns and 13 picks. For college, he had 12 touchdowns, 26 interceptions. Got drafted. Since he's been drafted, he has 4 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. So since he left high school, this man has 16 touchdowns and 37 interceptions.
So mediocre is what you're saying. Well, not even mediocre. Just yeah. It's wild.
It's not it's bad.
Yeah.
It's like
It's just wild. Yeah.
and like the fact that you have played bad enough. This man threw a pick six on a Hail Mary.
Yeah. I had never seen
And
that
the coach,
before. I ain't never seen that before. I was like, what is going on?
bro, if I gave you 100 chances to do it in Madden, I promise you couldn't.
Yeah.
If I gave
Like
you 100 chances to do it in Madden, I promise you could. On rookie with fatigue off, I promise you couldn't. Like, I've never seen that in my life, bro. And the
that
coach
that
thought,
that was that was very different.
and the coach was like, I gotta roll him out again. That's how bad you are. You're not even hurt. I gotta roll him out again because I can't do it with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is I can't, yo, you gotta go. Like, Wilson, he has to be off the team. He got to be off the team next year. Just like whatever plan you had with him sitting behind Rodgers and taking over again later, you got to scrap it, bro. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
it was bad last year when you had the dude with the tatted arm out there with Stevian, whatever his name was. Like, that was bad last year. You put in Tim Boyle and said, you put in Tim Boyle, right? Saw what he gave you and said, I got to do it again. Like that's the part to where you got to lead the team because the coach said that was bad, but I got to do it again because I can't put you back out there.
Yeah, if the coach is saying he can't put you back out there, then yeah, that's not good. But I mean, it's mainly because that seat is high. It's unfortunate because things have just happened that out of his
I
control. But
don't.
that
Here's
is
the thing, bro. I don't know if his seat is actually hot because so like leaving last year, I don't feel like his seat was hot. I feel like everybody was like, "Yo, your quarterback's just bad. You got to get a quarterback. Your defense is awesome. Your side of the ball is defense, right?" Then you come into this year, you have Aaron, he pops his Achilles. Not saying it's a free year, but like I feel like if your defense still performs, I don't think they'll even like pretend to look to fire you because like your side of the ball is good. You held up your end of the bargain. If anybody gets fired, it's Nate Hackett, but his job is probably safe because Aaron Rodgers wants to work with him. You know,
yeah.
like I feel like that situation. It's not like it's not like Ron Rivera in DC, right? Like they fired Jack Del Rio, and like the defense hadn't been great. You know what I'm saying? But to be honest, like everybody who wanted Bieniemy and like I ain't trying to put the man down or nothing, but like his offense really leaves the quarterback exposed. You know what I'm saying? And Howard's getting the hell beat out of him. You know what I'm saying? And that has
Well,
more to do.
that has a lot to do with how.
It does. He holds the ball a little longer, but I think a big part of that is you're used to calling plays for. Think about it. Like he was the running backs coach, but offensively he was around Alex Smith and then Patrick Mahomes. Both of those guys, very very cerebral players, process quick, can run through reads. You know what I'm saying? And like they was holding the ball a little bit because one, you have deeper, longer developing plays, but then another part of it is like maybe the pictures aren't too clear for him. You know what I'm saying? And you're used to somebody being able to make very quick decisions. Now you're with somebody who's not, and you haven't really tailored your offensive game plan to that.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a bad coach.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not going to disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not really the defense that killed you there, but like I understand, like that's one of those like making a change for the sake of making a change type
No, see,
situation.
my thing is like it's new ownership. They cleaning the house anyway. But it's like I'm not putting that on their real because like you traded his two best pair rushers and one hand to make shit out of lemonade.
Exact. Like I don't. It didn't make sense to fire the man. You know what I'm saying? But that's one of those like I'm doing something. You know what I'm saying to just try to kiss your boss's ass type situations. But when I look back to the Jets because we get sidetracked. Back to the Jets, like I think it's a free pass this year. The defense is balling out, rocking hard. Uh, Surprisingly though, and I haven't heard too many people say this. Sauce Gardner is slick having a down year, but his only comparable year is his all pro rookie year. So it's very hard to say like
Yeah,
he's
you
having
can't because it's like you can't say if it's a down year or it's. I mean, he's still early. Like,
he had an all pro rookie year. So
like
like if you're
was that just an anomaly or is this who he really is or was that who he is? I mean, hey, we don't know.
yeah, so like it's very hard to say you've regressed because like you're not an all pro. But he had a just a bomb ass rookie year. But this year, still think he's a pro bowler. Still think he's a pro bowler, but he has been susceptible. He guesses a little bit. I wanna just defensively, the mindset that comes behind that is if you feel your offense is super anemic, maybe you feel like you have to make the play on defense. I mean, he's never been a big interception number type person. He's a lot like Jalen Ramsey in that way, where very shutdown, lockdown corner doesn't get their hand on a lot of picks. You know what I'm saying? So who was like that? I think in the early 2000s, you'll remember this when they used to talk about who was the best corner in the league, and Antonio Cromartie had like 10 picks and he had 8 picks. Then he had like 6 picks in like back-to-back years. And like Darrell Revis only had like 1 or 2 picks in a year. But
because people weren't stupid enough to throw at him.
you feel what I'm saying? Like people weren't throwing your way, and then you didn't get your hand, like you got your hands on a lot of balls, Virginia a lot of picks, right? But like it was very, very clear that like Darrell was the better corner.
Because Darrell's one of the only people that can say he shut down Randy Moss.
Yeah, like Darrell was the better corner. And I think with Sauce, if you just look at interception numbers, you'll get lost in it. But I think
Interceptions
he's
is such a
trying to go.
horrible metric. Interception is a horrible metric to determine how good a corner is.
But I think he's trying to get interceptions this year. I think the whole defense is trying to get turnovers this year. Like, and turnovers is one of those things where
if you go hunting
it's a
for
lot
it,
of
bad
luck
things
involved.
happen.
Yeah, it's a lot of luck involved, but you make your own luck. But if you try to make your own luck, you usually get burnt.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta just let the opportunities present themselves with the thing, but you can't go try to force the opportunities or bad things can try to happen.
Yeah. And I think that whole defense is just looking, instead of being opportunistic, they're trying to create those situations. But even still, it's a really good defense. It's a really good defense.
Oh, it's still a very good defense, and we're gonna have our hands full trying to run the ball on them. That is gonna be interesting to see the game plan the author puts together and to see the type of performance that Murder's gonna give us this week.
So the offenses that we've seen have success on them, because even the Dolphins didn't have a great game against them, right? Like they very easily could have lost that game. It got out of hand after the whole Hail Mary, they're calling it. And then Dolphins came out and scored second half, and it was kind of, the offense was putrid. So like our path to victory in this game, I really think is running the ball, at some point building a 6 or 7 point lead, and then just teeing off on this offense, bro. We stack the box. You do not let Brees Hall get off, because Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson are players. Those two are players. They are legit, right?
Oh, yeah.
But like, one, no matter how good Garrett Wilson is, somebody got to get him the ball. And for Brees Hall, he's just one man. You stack the box, you assign your gaps properly, you don't let him get off. He is an emotional player. He gets frustrated very, very easily. I think you have the opportunity to put this game out of reach, even if the score doesn't necessarily show that it's out of reach. That makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, this feels like one of those games. If you get up 10, the game is like effectively over. If you can string together a couple first downs.
Depends on the point, but yeah. Depends on the point of the game, but yeah, I agree for the most part.
So this game does scare me. I'm not gonna pick against the Falcons here, but
oh wait, this
I'm
game
thinking,
is in New York, right?
yeah, this is in New York.
Ooh, okay.
I'm thinking 13-3 or 17-10. I think I'm gonna go, you know what? No, I'm gonna go 16-10. I'm gonna go 16-10. 3 field goals and a touchdown. 16-10.
10-3. That's what I'm going.
Yeah.
And it's going because it's gonna be cold.
Mm-hmm.
Because outdoor game is either gonna be cold or wet. So we ain't been on the road in the cold or wet game yet. So
And the last cold game I remember us being on was Baltimore last year.
and they look fine. Renner looked fine in that game from my recollection. Like
He did. His arm is strong enough. His arm's strong enough. He's a big, strong, athletic kid. So, but yeah, 16-10 and 10-3. So we're both in the same mindset of like, this is going to be a defensive, hard fought game. We keep that offense in check, but Falcons should come away with a win there.
yeah, I'm just under my man just because it's going to be it's going to be cold and just nasty weather. So
All right. So, hey, look, A win this week and a win next week puts us in amazing position. But let's go look at what else the rest of our division is doing in division. Next, my man, let's check out what's going on in the division. So as of right now, your division leaders with 5 wins, but your division leaders, the Atlanta Falcons, 5-6 right now. Win versus the Saints, next versus the Jets. Obviously, we talked about that. Second in the division is going to be the Saints. They just took an L versus us. Next week, they're facing Detroit, who's coming off a Thanksgiving loss to the Bears. So hopefully the Lions are looking to be in like revenge mode right there, really focus, have a 10-day rest, hopefully moving the Saints to 5-7 there. The Bucks sitting at 4-7, just had a loss versus the Colts, 27-20. Next, they're going to be facing in division versus the Panthers. The Panthers 1-9, loss versus the Titans, 17-10. Obviously, next versus the Bucks. Panthers, they're out of it, right? Completely. It's not really technically, mathematically, they're not out of it, but they're out of it.
Yeah.
The Bucks are still very much mathematically in it and alive. And then, us versus the Saints are really battling out at the top of this division, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. When I look at what's going on in the division next week, I think the Panthers can play the Bucks tough. I would love for them to get a win there, but realistically, it's probably going to be the Bucks at 5-7. We really can't afford to lose versus the Jets, even though it's an AFC opponent. We getting back to 500, getting to 6 wins would do a lot because I think the Lions are going to barn race the Saints. I think they are going to crush them. I think it's going to be disgusting.
That would be ideal.
That's another NFC loss for them. And these wins add up. You know what I'm saying? Like these wins, they add up over time. You gotta take them when you can get them. AFC, NFC. We already have. Well, we have the Texans as a win. That's an AFC opponent, and then I think we have another AFC win, don't we?
Texans and
Nope, we lost to the Titans. Lost to the
Jags. Yeah.
Jets. Yeah. So the other 4 wins are NFC wins. So AFC losses, they're losses, so they hurt, you know what I'm saying? But they don't hurt you as much as NFC losses. Like us losing to the Lions, like us losing to the we're 3-0 in the division right now, by the way. But we lost to the Lions, we lost to the Commanders, losing to the Cardinals, losing to the Vikings. Like those things kind of, they build up over time. Those AFC losses, they hurt because they're losses, but they still keep you in the playoff picture.
Yeah. I just want to I would love to just to see it just went out. That's what I would love, but I know it won't happen. But I would love to see us run the table, so we
I
don't have to
mean,
worry about these scenarios.
well, I mean, you get into the scenarios real quick because I got the playoff picture right here. The Eagles 10-1 right now. 49ers and Lions are both 8-3. So, like, technically the Lions are the second seed, but the 49ers could very well be the second seed. They're both 8-3 right now. You got the Falcons at the 4th spot at 5-6. The Cowboys at 8-3. It is crazy to think that the Cowboys might have to come to us as the first playoff game, but that's what it would set up. It pretty much seems like whoever wins the NFC South is going to face the Cowboys in the first round. Cowboys are going to have to come to the NFC South winner. You got the Vikings at 5-6. You got 6-8, 6-5. You got Seahawks at 6-5. Packers at 5 wins. Saints at 5 wins. Rams at 5 wins after their win today, and then the Bucks down at 4-7, not mathematically eliminated, right? So when you look at it, that whole reseeding idea that we talked about might be absolutely necessary because it's crazy that the Cowboys need to travel. Looking like they're probably going to end with like 11 or 12 wins and going to have to travel to a 9-win team. But
But
hey,
see,
that's the way the cookies are.
here's my thing with the Cowboys though. I'm not scared of the Cowboys because the
I think
Cowboys
their
ain't
offense is good.
No, the Cowboys are a good team, but they only beat bad teams.
I wouldn't classify us as
We're not a good team, but when you look at the Cowboys' record, they ain't beat no one they ain't beat nobody with a winning record.
I think
Not a single team they beat has a winning record.
I think that the line for a Cowboys Falcons playoff game would be disrespectful, and I would take the Falcons. Even if I didn't take them to win, I would take whatever line was put out there. Because I think to the national media, they will look at that game as, oh, the Cowboys should win 40-7. You know what I'm saying? But I think in terms of our ball control offense, because the Cowboys defensive numbers are skewed, and I will die on that hill
Oh
because
yeah,
like they do not play good quarterbacks. They avalanche and roll over people. But like when they play against competent offenses, they allow a lot of yards. They gamble on turnovers, so they get burnt. Their defensive. I'm selling that. I'm selling that defense. Um, so like I think the line will come out as like 13 and a half, 14 or something. And like I would take the Falcons every day of the week.
because that's a crazy line.
Yeah. But yeah, not even the fact it's a crazy line. I think it's just like it's overinflated because like you haven't actually like they haven't delved into it. And it's enough suckers that would take the Cowboys on that. Plus the Cowboys are gonna draw action just because they're the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um but that Vikings loss hurts us, man. The Viking loss hurts us. So the Vikings and Seahawks both sit at 6-8, 6-5 right now, right? Um, we need to win the division. That is first and foremost. We should win the division. But we're sitting at 5 wins right now, right?
Yeah,
If if we didn't win the division, our top that we could get is like the 7th seed because we can't pass the Vikings because we lost head to head. The Packers seem to be coming on at the right time. The Rams seem to be coming on at the right time. I actually think the Rams are going to not only catch the Seahawks, but pass them, right? But then they're going to have a lot of NFC wins.
I'm not so sure about that one.
Oh no, I don't think the Seahawks are going to be able to maintain, bro. Like I think that when I watch that game, bro, Geno's injury is like he might need Tommy John, bro. Like he had no zip on the ball, like none. And maybe 10 days of rest will make it look different, but like his elbow is fucked up.
Yeah, I mean the elbow. Yeah,
And so like if that is the Geno that you're getting for the rest of the year because he's trying to thug it out and tough through it, you're done. You're done. Like put a fork in it, it's cooked. You know what I'm saying? It's done. But if 10 days of rest makes it look different, I'm just basing it on last week's game, that the Seahawks played, and tonight's game with the Rams. Like the Rams team that you saw today, even minus Cooper Cup with the ankle thing, and that Geno, they would catch the Seahawks. They're not going to catch the Vikings because I think the Vikings they may have a little fall from grace with the Pastronaut, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think the Packers are going to win enough to catapult into that spot. I think they're going to put pressure, right? They're going to put pressure on the situation. But I think the Packers end with 8 wins, or I think they will end with 8 wins. I think the Vikings end with 9. I think the Seahawks end with 8 or 7. I think the Rams end with 9. I don't think even if we get to 9 wins, we lose both of those tiebreakers, right? So,
yeah.
like, I feel like our only path in is to win the division.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, for the most part, yeah. I mean, I think the Falcons realize that too, because that's what they've been harping on. Like, win the division, focus on that first, and then
You
everything
could
else will kind of.
throw down that division, right? Like, I think 9 wins get you in on the NFC, 9-8. But 10 definitely gets you in, right? 10 definitely gets you in. But I, we played the Jets. We still got Carolina once. We got Tampa again, right?
Yeah.
We got Tampa again. We got Carolina again. We got the Saints again. That's five. Uh, we should have two more, right? We got the Colts because we haven't played them yet. Six. That's it. We only got 6 games left.
We don't play 11 games of football.
Right, we only got 6 games left.
This season's
So
going by fast, man.
hey, look, it's depressing, dog. But we got two AFCs, right? We got the Colts and Jets, and then we got Carolina, Tampa, Saints again, and we'll have an NFC team in there somewhere. But the point is, I don't think we get to like I would like you said, I would love for us to win out, right? Be 11-6. It's not an issue. But reasonably, I think we're probably closer to 9-8, right? 10 wins get you in regardless. 10 wins either wins the division or get you in the seventh spot. But we're not going to pass the Vikings, Seahawks, or Rams in terms of NFC wins. So
Oh, yeah, no, unfortunately not.
we just, we lost too many early, but we could. I feel like sweeping our division will go a long way. Will go a long way to making sure we have enough NFC because that's six NFC wins right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And even if we get into a tiebreaker situation, we'll have the division record over any opponent, right? We'll have the head-to-head division record. So take care of our business versus the Bucks. Take care of our business versus the Panthers. The Saints game in New Orleans is always going to be a hard game, right?
yeah,
But taking advantage of those situations is definitely going to put us in the best situation
I agree. And the business and everything else take care of itself.
every time. So next, we're going to go into city talk. We got a very special city talk. So take a second, come along with us, and let's hash out these rookies. All right, man. So I went to the draft last year, did my reactions or whatnot. Uh, I had a bunch to say about all the dudes that was drafted. So we're just about to do like a mid-season report, right? Kind of see what lined up and if you can give kind of like your thoughts when drafted and when now. Obviously you weren't, Whitley then, but just kind of give like what you thought the role would be and then what it's kind of turned into now. But I want to do a mid-season rookie report, right? So
Mhm.
obviously, first round pick, Bijan. Um, my thoughts on him when he was drafted was it was an ancillary pick, right? Repeated that when we did our preseason, our first one before the Panthers, right? Is that like I just thought, why are you picking a running back? You just had a guy go for 1,000 yards. Um, you definitely have needs at pass rusher, but after seeing this draft and seeing how it has like rolled out, I feel like Jeff Okuda is a decent enough stopgap solution at corner. Um, the person I definitely wanted in that position was Christian Gonzalez, but I wanted you to trade down because I didn't think you should get him at 8. Other than that, there wasn't Jalen Carter, but he was off the board. Other than that, there wasn't anybody that I really felt like was deserving of that spot. And save Arthur's play calling, I feel like Bijan has more than reasonably lived up to the number 8 pick in the draft.
Yeah, yeah.
What about you, bro?
No, Bijan has been in some ways. Oh, well, okay. In some ways, he's been better than expected, and in some ways, I've been kind of he some in some ways he leaves stuff to be desired. So like maybe like the past few games, dating back to like even before Ritter got benched. There's times when Ritter will go to him hot and Bijan is just not ready for the ball.
Mm-hmm.
turns around, boom, right in the chest, right in the face. Or sometimes he gets to try to be too cute. Because, like, so today we hit the wheel route, but there was a real route where we threw it against I want to say the Commanders. And instead of going up with two hands like he did today, he tried to go up with his left hand unnecessarily. So sometimes I feel like he makes things too complicated because he's trying to be very flashy. Because he even admitted that sometimes that he does not follow everything the way he's supposed to. Like on the touchdown pass where Ritter on the shovel pass from Ritter where he pinned it on his back hip. He said he didn't see the ball because he was too busy worried about making the other guy miss. And sometimes that shows up. But some of these things are mostly just him being just a young player that's just trying to, come in and do things. But the talent is definitely there. He's exciting to watch, and he's definitely. I mean, I up until the pick, like up until, but the weeks leading up to the draft, I was convinced we were going to take Christian Gonzalez. He was the guy that I wanted the most.
Mm-hmm.
But then, and I was comfortable with them taking him at 8 because I think he's that good. But
No. I like after watching him play. Yeah, he is that good. But like I've said, like me and you, we talked about like the draft is an economic exercise. You know what I'm saying? And like you have to factor in how much you're going to end up paying for because you're going to extend AJ. How much you're really going to attribute to the corner position as a whole. But that's whatever.
yeah, so but like the weeks so like I kind of shifted between him and then I even thought Paris Johnson was going to be the pick, and then
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the week
Side note, he went really high, bro.
he went
Like,
6. He went 2. I think he was high on the Falcons. He went 6 because the Cardinals traded down and then traded back up to
yeah,
6
but
with
like
Detroit.
I wouldn't have been comfortable with him at 8. Like I would have been, but to be honest with you, everybody. Like I didn't feel comfortable with anybody at 8. To be honest with you, I thought we should
It's
have
a weird
traded
spot.
him. Yeah,
It's a weird spot. But the thing is, in order to trade down, you have to have the right marriage of value and how far you want to go down. Like, does the
yeah.
value match? So, like,
Because
if you
anybody in the 20s will trade you, right? Anybody in the 20s will
right,
trade
well,
you.
oh
You won't
yeah,
you won't
but
get the
you kind
player
of
you
want to
want.
stay in
So
range to get one of the people that you have tabbed as a blue chip guy.
yeah.
But like, so we get down to the week of the draft, and the two guys that I really thought that it was going to come down to was Peter Skoronski or Bijan. Because at this point, I think the news had leaked that the Cardinals were very high on Paris Johnson. So I'm like, okay, well, he's probably going to be gone. I had him at 3 in my mock draft, but he ended up going at 6 because I traded down and traded back up. So, yeah, it came down to Peter Skoronski. And then probably like the day before or the day of the draft, I kind of came to the realization, looking through past drafts, I'm like, okay, the pick's going to be Bijan. So I
Just because
spent prop.
they weren't gonna allocate after giving those contracts in
Well,
interior.
I mean, because the thing is, Peter Skoronski is a guy that can play tackle, so he's one of the dudes you could put him here and then move him back out or wherever.
Mm-hmm. But they
But
got that in the second round, right? We'll
I
get
mean,
to it. We'll
well,
get to it.
but I
Go
mean,
ahead.
yeah, but like at the top of the draft, you don't know what it's going to be. So, um, yeah, I was, that week, I was kind of going back between those two, and then I was still like, but man, it's a running back. So then I watched Bijan, and I was sold. And so I was prepared for the pick before they actually made it, and I'm okay with it. Thus far, I think his shortcomings aren't on him. Besides the couple of things that I spoke on, it's been based on just usage. Like if you take a running back at 8, he needs to touch the ball a lot. I mean, don't run him into the ground, but he needs to be damn near the center of the offense.
Yeah, and I agree with that. We've had our discussions on how much he should be used and when. Um, 703 yards rushing, 248 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns. He's almost accounted for 1,000 scrimmage yards, and that's with missing the Bucks game pretty much entirely, right? So through 10 games, almost 1,000 yards. He's giving you exactly what you would want out of a number one pick. Damn near 100 scrimmage yards a game.
Yeah.
Um, Touchdown pretty much every other game. I think that if he ends the season with, we're at game 11 now. You got six more. He ends the season with 15 to 1,600 scrimmage yards and 9 touchdowns. Obviously, with CJ Stroud, he's not going to win Rookie of the Year, but like that's a cornerstone type of guy.
Yeah.
Uh, so I was like, okay, you drafted a running back, whatever, cool, whatever. Second round, Matthew Bergeron out of Syracuse, right? I was like, I my thoughts when we drafted him. I was like, he doesn't fit the contracts that we give, but obviously you're gonna throw him on the left side, right? Okay, somebody's out of a job. That was my first thought. Somebody's out of a job, right? You gave him drafting him second round, and he has the potential to move to tackle, right? So like, is that a harbinger for your relationship with Jake Matthews? All these things kind of rolled around in my mind, but like I was, I wouldn't say gassed, but like I was extremely okay with that pick in that area. So for me, I only had I think 11 players that like I was like, or even like first rounders. You know what I'm saying? After that, it was like everybody was kind of like, bro, I'm cool with taking you in the second or the fourth. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it's not like there's a bunch of like really mid players there. And he fell in that tier, right? He wasn't like a blue chipper, but I could understand him not being around in round three. So I was okay with them taking him. And since then, he's allowed 4 sacks. He's had 3 penalties, 4 sacks in 11 games. No one expects you to be freaking Quentin Nelson, right? Like as an interior lineman. No one expects that. 4 sacks in 11 games as a rookie. He started every game. Only 3 penalties for the whole year. And he hadn't missed a snap this year. That's pretty good. And then
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't say dominant, but he is a very, very good run blocker. Struggles a little bit in pass pro, but he's a very good run blocker.
He still has some things that he needs to clean up in the run game. I think he's actually been better as a pass blocker than he has in run blocker.
He doesn't
Uh,
stay on he doesn't stay on his feet enough in this zone blocking scheme, right?
it's
So
it's
what
not
you're
even
what you're
that. Just based off the film that I've been watching. He's been struggling mainly with just reach block. He's been struggling getting his face across to seal on some of these inside runs because like he's improved as the season's gone on because he's got had more reputation in it because like I don't the casual fan doesn't understand the difficulties and the intricacies of playing guard and tackle. Good thing he didn't have to switch sides because that would have made things even more complicated because he was a 4 year left. He probably played 1 year right tackle, then a 3 year left tackle at
yeah,
Syracuse.
he was left tackle. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
and that's what my
even
first
with
thought was.
yeah, but I mean he cross trained at the Senior Bowl, even though he didn't really play in the game at guard, he practiced at guard. So boom, when see that, I was seeing a lot of people project him inside. So when I heard us draft him, I never seen, I didn't hear tackle. I was like, oh, he's gonna be our guard because that was the obvious hole. Because we had everything else secured. We had both our tackles. We had a center. We had a right guard. We didn't have a guard. So when I see that, oh, boom, all right, he's gonna be our guard. That's what it's gonna be. And I don't think they're drafting him to move him later. I think he's just gonna be a guard for us. Now,
So like I said, when the first thing happened, like when he was first drafted, I thought like, okay, does this is this kind of like a harbinger for Jake Matthews. After seeing him play, he fits at guard, and I think in 2 years you could have a Pro Bowl guard.
No,
Like,
because I've seen I know like the comparison things kind of a dangerous thing, but it's a fun exercise. So a lot of comparisons I was seeing with him at guard were either Joel Bitonio for the Browns or Roger Saffold. And Roger Saffold has had a very long career, and he's
yeah,
been a relatively successful guard. Those
yeah,
are two guards that if you got in the second round.
and he's excelled in zone run schemes.
Yeah. So getting that second round, that's great value to me. Now, like I was saying earlier with the him struggling with reach blocks because in the zone thing it is very predicated on that. I never expected it to be a day one thing because and that he is learning a new position because the drops are different from tackle to guard because his weaknesses at tackle will not be his weaknesses at guard because you don't have to worry about getting beat outside.
Yeah,
And that was one of his main things because he struggled sometimes with power. And it's not because he's not a powerful guy, it's just mainly because he might have got caught in some leverage thing. He might have lunged a little too far. Just minor technical things that I think are cleaned up at guard. Now, obviously, he's gone through a gauntlet of godly D tackles. And to go through that gauntlet and only have 4 sacks and a couple pressures, I think that's pretty good for a guy who's still learning the position.
and if you really break it down, which ones are actually sacks on him. So, like, if you double team and the guy gets through, or he spins back around off the center because you engaged him in the block. You know what I'm saying? They may give the sack to you. So it's kind of
Yeah,
like you got to look at it with the grain of salt there.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, but even then, like the numbers, they're very promising. Um, so
Yeah, no, I definitely believe you hit on picks 1 and 2. Your first pick should be a perennial Pro Bowler, at least for the life of this rookie contract. And then your second pick, I definitely think early returns look like could be a candidate for a second contract and should make a Pro Bowl or two within those two contracts.
well, see, I don't like looking at the whole Pro Bowl thing when it comes to second round picks because like only so many guys get in. So how I value these contracts, the first round guy, he needs to be an impact guy. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Second round pick. Typically the format of the Falcons have been following through with 3 drafts. All three of our first round picks have been instant impact guys. They are relied upon from day one. The day two guys, second and third round guys, they're typically more developmental guys. Typically they would like to stash them for a year and then play them the following year, like Richie Grant, Troy Anderson. Now things got out of hand with Jalen Mayfield, but I also think that was kind of a. I'm not going to count the Jalen Mayfield pick against Terry just because they're just not getting there. Him and Arthur are still trying to figure out what they want. So there's going to be misses when you're in a transition period.
Well, I think
So
I think no one bats 100 in the draft, bro.
no,
Like,
no,
you know
no,
what I'm saying? Like,
no one bats 100, but Mayfield was just a bad scheme fit. Period.
yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
But I
But
think,
they recognized it quick and pivoted,
oh yeah, yeah.
which
I mean, yeah,
which is
they
the
did, they
sign of
did.
good leadership.
Yeah, yeah, very, very much. So, but typically, like, yeah, their first round picks, developmental guys. I mean, instant impact. Day two and three picks are guys that you kind of want to bring on because you look at them as future starters and you want to kind of bring them along. So far, they've missed on one. The others have been. They're still a work in progress, but I like where they're going. So, yeah. So Bergeron, he's following the that thing. So back, I say that just to say that you don't need to be a pro. I don't like the whole Pro Bowl expectation. I just need you to fit the expectation of the team because Pro Bowl, that's the fan thing, and sometimes you have some of the best players that don't get nominated to the Pro Bowl because a lot of fans are casual and don't understand the intricacies of the game.
I get it. I'm thinking about it in terms of so there's clear distinctions to me, right? So like Hall of Fame, All Pro, Pro Bowl, starter, rotational bench, right? So like those are kind of how I view it. So when I look at a player, I kind of just slot you along those lines. And so, Jalen Mayfield, right? If we're taking him, I would consider you bench to rotational, right? As your upside with the Falcons, right? Like that's not saying you can't be a good player on another team. You haven't really been picked up, whatever. But
No, he's
like
on
I
the
would give
Giants and
you,
he's still stinking it up. But yeah,
yeah, like bench to rotational, bro. Like that's kind of like your ceiling there. When you see somebody like I'm thinking of these Aaron Donald, obviously is an easy one.
seems like yeah,
Since we're talking
like
about
yeah, those are the anomalies. Like,
yeah, since we're talking about interior line, like Quentin Nelson, when he came out, I was like, "Yo, this is a Pro Bowl to All Pro player."
well, I
Now
mean
it's very
that's
obvious he's a Hall of
yeah,
Fame. Like
yeah.
he's
But
a
I mean,
Hall of Fame level player.
he was also considered generational coming out though. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I know that these days the draft pundits tend to throw this generational tab out a little too frequently, but Quentin Nelson was truly a generational prospect at guard because he came in day one and dominated.
yeah. But like, but even if we just take our team, right? If we just take our team, like when Kyle Pitts was drafted, he has Hall of Fame potential. But after like seeing him play for a couple years, I honestly think Kyle Pitts is going to be a Pro Bowl. So like for me, in my mind, what I think about it, you're going to have they're obviously going to resign you because Pro Bowlers get re-signed, right? For the most part, Pro Bowlers get re-signed. So you're going to have two contracts with the team, which is like that's amazing, right? To get drafted out, like do your whole contract and get re-signed, that's amazing. So like you're going to have two contracts with the team in that span of time. You should be able to be considered one of the best four or six at your position, right? Like that's more so what I mean when I say like Pro Bowler. Now, if I classify you as an All Pro, you're one of the best two at your position. Like that's obviously like another tier, another level. I think I think Kyle Pitts has Hall of Fame potential. I think Drake London has All Pro
Promo.
potential, right? But he's going
I
to end up being Pro Bowl.
see. I don't know if Drake London has all pro potential. Like, cause I wasn't as high on Drake London coming out, but that's also from a place of ignorance. I just thought he was just a slow receiver that just was just a jump ball guy. And I mean,
Mm.
he still is a slow receiver, but he's more nuanced than I gave him credit for.
Yeah, he can do the whole route tree. He can do the whole route tree.
Yeah,
He's
because
he's
it's
a
yeah, because it's like
but that's what I'm saying. Like I view him and Mike Evans very similarly, even though Mike Evans is a little like faster. But
a
like
lot
I view
faster.
them very similar. And Mike Evans has had multiple All Pro seasons. Will you
I
reach that level? Will you reach that level? Probably not. You
see,
know what I'm saying? Probably not.
I like Mike Evans, but I don't like the comparison. Because to me, like I feel like Drake London can be more of a Keenan Allen type. He's bigger than Keenan, but they're very smooth. They're not the most explosive, but once Drake learns a little more nuance in his route running, I think he's gonna be more Keenan Allen than he is Mike Evans.
Yeah, and Keenan Allen has hit multiple Pro Bowls, but I don't think Keenan's ever been an All Pro. If I'm not mistaken, he might
Keenan
have.
but Keenan Allen had a very nice stretch where he was one of them top 8 receivers.
No, and yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So like that's where I'm saying like bench,
Yeah,
rotational, starter,
but I mean,
Pro Bowl, All Pro, Hall of Fame.
but Keenan Allen and Mike Evans have also been ranked very close to each other. They're just different styles of receiver.
Yeah, but I've seen Mike Evans have Mike Evans has been a multiple All Pro. Like that's a clear distinction there.
I don't know if he has any All Pros to be honest with you.
No, as currently constructed, no, we don't. As currently constructed, no, we don't. Like
No,
I
I'm talking
think
about
he
Mike
had
Evans. I don't think Mike Evans has any All Pros.
no, he had hold on. I'm pretty sure he had one season with Tom Brady and then he had one season with James, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
I'll look it up real quick.
he was second team All Pro in 2016.
Yeah. And that's what I said, like one of the best four at your or one of the best for
Four,
wide receivers would be one of the best
well,
four.
four,
But
depending if they count the slot. But
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like he's had still all pro seasons. Keenan might have one. If I'm not, I don't think he does, but he might have one.
um, I'm not sure if he has.
I don't think he does.
He's a five-time Pro Bowler. He has NFL Comeback Player of the Year, but he doesn't have any
Yeah.
All Pro.
Yeah.
I mean, but Mike Evans got a 1 year in 2016. Like he's good, but ultimately, like that.
I thought he had an all pro year with Brady.
No, he only had one in 2016. He was second team. So like Mike Evans is very good, but I'll ultimately group him and Keenan Allen in a very similar class. But stop.
Which is fair. You can if you want to think all pro, think Devontae Adams, right?
Yeah,
Do I think that
yeah. That's
yeah, do I think that London is ever going to be Devontae Adams? Probably not,
no.
right?
I think Drake London has top 10 potential, but I don't know if he'll be top two.
Yeah. Like it's and that's fine. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's perfectly fine.
Like you said, Keenan Allen, that's a respectable career.
Yeah.
So when I think of like Bijan, you know what I'm saying? Like I think you could be a pro bowler. I really think you could be an all
No,
pro,
no, no,
you
no.
know, at some point.
Bijan is someone who I think, I don't like to throw that expectation out, but because I don't like to go into the draft looking at, oh, like you're gonna be a hall. Well, like, okay, what kind of impact you get? The impact, and then if the impact is what you think it is, then you look at the All Pro, Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame. I think Bijan has Hall of Fame type talent.
Yeah. Yeah, talent wise. But I'm
Yeah.
saying in terms of like how he's gonna be used, what he's gonna do on the team,
Um, I th-
you're gonna end up being a pro bowler.
I think he'll eventually. I think it probably won't be this year, but I think eventually he gets it All Pro. So
He might get
I,
one just in terms of
I think it's
the
gonna
scrimmage
be.
yards.
I think it's gonna be him and Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Because 'cause I think you give Bijan a year. Because this thing is like, yeah, running backs the most.
You took the words out of my mouth because I was literally just finna say his all pro year is gonna be like Christian McCaffrey's year. That
Yeah,
year he did the
yeah,
100 catch year.
yeah.
Like
Because it's like you gotta give Bijan just because like running back's the easiest position to translate, but there still is an adjustment period because it's more games. You're dealing with people that are a lot much faster than the guys you were going up in college. So, and you're still learning what you can and cannot get away with. So once you learn these things, you could be a much more decisive runner. Now, Bijan, he could toy with the majority of the league, but there's still a few people he still got to figure out what he can do with. Because like Demario Davis was scooping him up, but Bijan was still, he was still getting run. But I feel like he's starting to really kind of learn the nuance. So I
so I
think
definitely
next year is when we're going to see Bijan take another step. But hell, probably toward the end of this year because they said they're going to work.
probably toward the end of this year if fatigue doesn't get the best of him.
Yeah.
But like I
No,
said, so
but that's why I like how they're using it because like you have you have an Algier and you have a Cordell Patterson who just was punishing the Saints. We didn't talk about how much he was punishing the Saints today, but that's not that's not the topic right now. But you have these guys that allow you not to run Bijan into the ground.
and you know, it might look a little different. Might look to draft a running back, a punishing, bruising guy in the sixth or seventh this year because
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Cordell's gone after this year.
no, because I think me and you both agree. I think we spoke about this, being proponents of drafting a running back every year.
Pretty much, yeah. Just like
And
a running back and a quarterback.
yeah, quarterback every year, maybe not, but running back definitely.
I think if you have an established quarterback, so like I wouldn't bring in a rookie this year in the fourth round with Ritter. Like no, but like Ritter going into year five, I would draft a quarterback like every other year. because they
I
become
mean,
trade assets, especially when people see him in the preseason. They fall in love with him. It's stupid, but they do.
but
Um,
the thing is, you got to
but
think about that. You got to think about
moving along. We got Zach Harrison right in the third round. Hasn't been able to do a whole lot this year, right? But he's been a solid rotational player. 33 tackles, no sacks. He's appeared in almost every game. When he was drafted, I think I was thinking like physical freak, right? Prestigious program. Didn't have a lot of production in college, right? Didn't get a lot of sack numbers, but we've seen him inside and outside this year. And I think he's a decent rotational D lineman.
yeah,
Have you been able to when I've seen him, I haven't seen him be able to like take over any of his assignments. Most of his in 33 tackles, he has no tackles for loss either. You know what I'm saying? So like you're kind of just making the plays as they come to you. But I think D lineman is a really big transition, especially for somebody who was it seemed as though just relying on raw talent in college.
it is definitely a transition. He has all the tools in the world. Very athletic freak.
Physical freak. Physical freak, man.
Because I think in high school he ran like a 4.47. Obviously, he's not running that now because he's heavier. But for him to be a 6'6", 270 pound guy, probably running in the 4.6s, the athleticism is there. One of the longest wingspans in the league. Like he has all of the traits that you would like to construct your defensive ends out of.
When I've seen him be inside, he's overpowered by like a lot of times. When he gets on the outside, it's usually to spell a break, but they don't single him out to run at him, but you can run at him. I think he needs another year getting like development and like technique down. But I think he could be a high end starter. I don't think he ever sneaks into a Pro Bowl, but I think he could be a high end starter. Right
He,
now,
he
he's rotational, but I think he could be a high end starter.
I'm not sure on the high end, but I do think he's starter level. I think that's his ceiling. If he can figure out the pass rush aspect, then hey. But I think that's what a guy like Nelson is there for. Because if you can coach up the right stuff and coach some bad habits out of him and coach some good ones into him, he could be one of those good guys because he has all of the tools to be that.
Yeah, he's
Whether
everything you want. If you could create a player on Madden DN, like he's the guy you create.
yeah,
But every time I see it, he can't put it all together right now. And yeah, that might just be coaching, you know.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I don't expect him to put it because like he's also one of the younger guys in the draft class. So
he ain't on 21. He
yeah,
turned 22 in season.
yeah.
So
So yeah, he's a very young guy. So like he still has time, and I do think being on the same team as Calais Campbell does help him will help with his development a lot.
yeah, definitely does wonders for it. Side note, something I saw with them coming off the field after making a big stop. Arthur dapped up every person, but he gave Calais a hug, and that was one of those like I think everyone recognizes like
Oh, he important. That's
important
another
he is.
coach.
Yeah.
That's another coach on the field for you.
And so like really getting some reps in. Like I said, I think just like with the physical tools, I see him being a high end starter, but I haven't seen anything from him that warrants you being any more than a rotational piece as of now. Um,
But
Next,
yeah,
we got Clark Phillips the third. He's been a special teamer for the most part. He's had one tackle on the season. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've watched a lot of the Falcons. I've seen a lot of film. Nothing I've seen from him gives me anything other than a rotational special teamer. Like I haven't really seen much from him.
well, I mean, the thing is, you're not going to see much because you have D Offin in front of him. That's not his fault because D always been playing very good football.
and hadn't
Um,
been hurt.
yeah, well, I mean, he missed one game, and that's the only game he played.
Yeah,
So like Clark Phillips coming out, like if he would have been taller than 5'9", he would have been a second round pick. The film is good. It's just the only reason he slipped us in the fourth is because he's small. And he's also in college. He was an outside corner, playing outside and playing inside. That's a transition.
that's two different worlds, bro.
Yeah,
That's two different worlds.
because when you in that slot, it's just you. You ain't got. It's hard.
If you
So
could force them inside, you may have some linebacker help, but
yeah, yeah, but
like,
it's difficult. So I understand what they're doing with him. He's a dead piece right now, but I think he is. Um, I think if he when he gets on the field, he could be a very maybe replacement level, but I think he could be a solid starter at some point.
now he may be in the dime package. You know, he may be able to sneak on the field in the dime package, but as of right now, like
Oh,
I'm
right now,
very
no,
comfortable. Yeah, very comfortable with D.
but
Alford, Okuda, and Terrell.
well, yeah, but I mean, but for the fourth round picks, you don't expect them to come in day one to play. Like the fourth round picks are the guys you take them with special teams on your mind and the hope that they could turn into more.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So
So as of right now,
and Clark's very unplayed because he's 21 too. Um, so he's someone that still has a lot of growing to do. And based off what I've seen with him in Utah, and him and Drake London had some battles, and he gave Drake some good reps. So despite him being a smaller corner, he has a lot of heart. He can play with big players.
yeah,
So
you can't measure heart. You can't measure heart, bro.
yeah.
So
So I think eventually he breaks into the rotation, but there's no need to force it right now. Just let him sit back and develop.
yeah, and it's very hard when like Okuda has pedigree, whether or not he's living up to it. He has pedigree. Terrell actually has some pelts on the wall. You know what I'm saying? And D. Alfred, he's had a good year. You know what I'm saying? So like Nickel's kind of our base. It's very hard to it's very hard to move any of those three. And then when you go into dime, the next player actually got some burn today and played really good, which is DeMarco Hellmans, right? Like
Yeah.
he looked real good today.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
I think that's your dime. I think that's your dime, your last DB, and drafted as a safety, but he's played some slot, he's played some deep third. Like he kind of gives you a lot of options there on defense. And this is his first game. He got some major burn, but I was decently high on him when he got drafted. I remember thinking like, okay, this may be something. I don't remember why he fell, but I think he was projected in like the third, right?
I don't know what his projection was, bro. I think most people probably just had him tab as just a hitman. Like, he's
Yeah,
not really strong in coverage. You can't really put him out there in space. He's like just let him. He's your prototypical box safety, and he's when he's there, he's going to make you feel his presence because he's going to hit you. Um, so like I don't understand because like honestly, like after probably like the once you get into the fourth round, it's really a coin flip. It just depends on who you think who meets your ethos and who you think you could develop and a whole bunch of other things that we will probably never really truly know unless we get into those rooms.
I agree there. I think that, and I think I was talking to you about it. First round, you want to get like a bona fide starter, or like you say, impact player. Second round, you want to get second and third, you want to get a starter. For me,
Yeah,
4
those
to
are your future
7,
starters. Yeah,
yeah, future starters, and then like 4 to 7, you kind of definitely want to get somebody that
at least make the team. So
at
those are
least
your.
make the at least
Those,
make the team, at least be a body. And then because the draft is an economic exercise, 4 to 7, I want to be able to flip you at some point, right? So like it's all free money. 4 to 7 is all free money. So like if you're even close to a starter as a fourth or fifth round pick, I'm starting you. Cause like it's free money. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get 4 years
yeah,
of production out of you for nothing. But
yeah.
like it,
I like the 49ers.
yeah, but like if you can show me enough in at a crucial position like freaking tackle, safety, corner, quarterback, that I can flip you at some point. Oh my god, bro! Like I'm doing it in a heartbeat, bro. Uh, and I feel like second round picks get the shaft the most because like you don't make first round money, then your second contract comes up earlier than a first round contract, and usually it's at a non-critical position like running back, safety, uh middle line, like something that doesn't get a whole bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? And it's like now you got a nickel and dime them fight or whatever. But like
Yeah,
that fourth through seventh rounder, when your second contract comes up, it is the most money you've ever seen or made. You know what I'm saying? Like you're so grateful for that contract. And most of them only signed 3 or 4 year, like three with a non-guaranteed fourth year deals. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So like you can negotiate midway through the third year. So and you could play with the salary cap, all that. Like you really strike gold with a lot of those situations.
yeah. Because we did with before you. Unfortunately, we didn't get to keep him, but he went and got a very nice contract from the Jaguars.
Yeah, but like wasn't he a seventh round pick
Yeah, I believe so.
out of Harvard or something, or was some Ivy League school? I think. But
Yale, I think. Or, Yale or Princeton. It wasn't Harvard. It was Yale or Princeton.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's an Ivy League school, like seventh round
Yeah,
pick. Like, bro,
yeah,
every tackle you make is free money, dog. Every single tackle you make is free money. Like, and especially when you start paying big bucks to the quarterback, you need people that are gonna,
yeah.
you got to
Yes.
hit on them late round picks.
Yeah, so when it comes to later round picks, you want to take guys with special teams upside, special teams value in playing upside, and yeah, so like
Right
I don't
now, we're
I
not
don't
really in
know.
that position
Yeah,
because
well,
we're not really paying anybody huge. To be honest with you, of course we hit the salary cap floor, and to be honest with you, I think that's part of the reason people like Cordell is still on the team because, like, if you were running the team in any other instance with his usage and injury history, you would have cut him in the offseason, especially when you drafted Bijan. But you got to hit the salary cap floor, and he's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? And he's giving you a little bit of production, so it's like okay to keep him on the team. But like, come next year, I don't see anybody with a contract coming up that you really need to re-sign, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a cap casualty next year.
but no, he won't be. This is the last year of his contract, so
Yeah, I don't see a
he
re-sign
won't.
in it.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't think they've re-signed him. I think they go draft him another running back to kind of fill that kind of role or
Late
something.
in the draft. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Just like they got Algier, right?
yeah,
Algier going for 1,000 yards, easy money.
yeah. And get hey, fourth quarter Algier is my kind of running back.
But I the last one is Jovan Gwen.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard from him.
he's on the team, but he doesn't play. So
Yeah,
um,
just
not applicable. So like I don't really have nothing to say about him.
I don't even. Do you remember seeing him in preseason?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like once the starters come out, I kind of check out myself.
Nah, I'm be honest. I don't even remember really seeing him in preseason,
No, I'm
but
sure he
pretty much the
played.
same.
I'm sure he had to play, but
No. But
yeah,
I'm the same, bro. Like
yeah,
once the starters are out, it's like, bro, what are we doing? Like I'm not gonna
yeah. It's just like I'm on my phone looking at things.
seeing what other first round rookies are playing on other teams.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, I get it.
sorry guys, but I mean, hey, that's just the reality of it. I'm not paying attention after them starters come out.
Yeah. But hey, at the end of the day, I feel like our rookie class has done great. We already talked about the fact we trying to head up to Detroit for the draft next year. So you guys stay tuned. We will see y'all next week. Maybe one a little longer. This, to be honest with y'all, I don't even know the time. So this has been your boy Q City.
Your boy Todd Barato, and be mindful. Yeah, and be mindful. We will be on video very soon. So
It's coming. Hopefully this week, maybe next week. We'll figure it out. So we out.
peace.
Looking like I hit the lotto. I want a hottie like mulatto. I'm on here and she on Moscato. I'm in them good till tomorrow. I'm a robber for the Neros. Your little loss, I'ma put you on payroll. You smell that aroma? Design the air, it's a party, yeah. Papa Corona, she moving the body, she working them heels. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20 on me, case emergency. I wake up early every morning. Thank the Lord and get the bag. Hustle hard, get the cash. Stack first, then I'm showing my ass. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20 on me, case emergency.
My babies, that's who I grind for. That's who I do it for. Like the Navy, that's who I'm toting that iron for. Keep one in the head like a thought, nigga. Yeah, I fuck with Ty, he a boss, nigga. Foot on that neck, I exhaust, nigga. Niggas cross me, so I cross, nigga. No stripper was lit last night. 500, what it cost, nigga. Shit was really legit last night. Had them hoes at the house, nigga. Instagram, Snapchat, Triller. What they say about Jay, he a go-getter. Used to have them fat sacks in the grove, nigga. Late nights, early morning, my dough, nigga.
You smell that aroma? Design the air, it's a party, yeah. Papa Corona, she moving the body, she working them heels. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20